Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Today, we're gonna have a great opportunity to talk about the Bordeaux Triangle public artwork that we're gonna get started on. We're gonna have our artists. I'm gonna introduce them all, but they're not here yet. But this is gonna be a really great opportunity, more so for them to get to know the community. So then the artwork itself will be representative of the community. So I'll start with some of the introductions over here. And can you just say who you are, community you live in? We know exactly where though. And yeah, what this project means to you.
I'm here with my wife Susan. My name is Pino Prado. I'm from Colombia, South America. I speak Spanish. And I've been in the United States for the last 40 years, maybe 20. I became a US citizen. That was a struggle to me to do that transition, but now I'm a US citizen. And
Lived here in Bordeaux for
now I'm
many years.
I'm a visual artist too. I've been my whole life a visual artist. My wife is same, but I went to the person she can hear you thinking the story.
I'm Susan Prado, and yeah, we have been here in Bordeaux for 20 years, and just happy to be here and contribute to the neighborhood, working with the community in a lot of ways, with partnerships with different local organizations and institutions. And so some of them here in our neighborhood, and I see a lot of familiar faces. And we're just happy to be here. I don't know how much you want.
No, that's good. That's fantastic. Next, Amari, you just want to give a little about yourself?
Sure. Should I stand up?
You can, sure. Yeah, like we want to see you.
Black spot me either way. But my name is Omari Booker. I'm Nashville native, visual artist, graduated from Tennessee State, and came out of that art department and consistently. And this is home. I live probably 4 or 5 minutes down the street on Sunnyview, right around Boyd, Buenaview area. And family grew up here. My dad is kind of out in Franklin. My mom from Trinidad. Other than that, we moved here, and this is it's been home. So really grateful to be here and see so many familiar faces. I got to run in the gym and hit one jumper before we started, so I saw it and it's good to be here. Thank you all for having me.
And I'm Stephen Hutchins, our partner on this project. I'm a sculptor here in Nashville. Well, used to be in the Jolton area and just relocated as of last month to Mont Eagle. And have a sculpture studio and a gallery space there, and welcome anybody to stop by whenever they're driving on 24. But my background is in construction. I started as a stonemason and led to architectural carving, and that led to sculpture as well. I'm excited about what Omari and I can bring together as a collaboration, using his ability to tell a story with his art and my sculpture practice. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. James Thrillkill, originally from Nashville, Tennessee, graduated from the East Nashville High School. My claim to fame is when I was a ninth grader, Oprah was a senior. And I probably would have offered the area books after school. But happy to be here to see Representative Gilmore and Judge Bell. But my history in this community involves doing the mural for the pool at the Northwest YMCA, as well as doing youth workshops at Cumberland View and other places throughout the community, including here at Hartman Park. But I've been blessed to be an artist for more than 50 years. And I am so excited about this opportunity to once again return to this community to contribute to a project that represents the input of the community, which is why this kind of forum is so important. And so I want to thank Attilio, Darius, and Masanya and Metro Arts for the opportunity to come out here and hear from the community. And that's what we're here for, to listen and hear your input and your ideas so that they can be incorporated, which gives the community an opportunity to take ownership of a project of this nature. but also happy to be among the panelists of the finalists who are dear colleagues and friends. So thank you for the opportunity today.
We are having some technical difficulties trying to get Shabazz Larkin on, but he is also one of the semifinalist artists. So when we do get him on, we will absolutely reserve time for him to introduce himself. But if we could, you have a round of applause for. All right, so as Latoya said, we are here to kind of like the last two rock for the engagement. So these semifinals are putting together their proposals. So it'll be a bunch of an exchange with you just giving your feedback and your vision. Wow. Giving your vision, sharing your stories of the history of Bordeaux, talking about Bordeaux's identity, sharing that, so they can feel empowered and inspired to go and begin their proposals. For a little bit, what I have on the handout, I do have their bios in the front, and then flip the page over. It should be a little bit of an overview of the project itself, and I'll just go over that. For the location, I think we all pass it frequently. It's going to be the grassy triangle, the intersection of Clarksville Highway and Rosa Park. And it is in District 2, which is Councilmember Coons, and the neighboring district of District 1, which is Kemp Road. The artist's budget is now $300,000 as of last year. The project was funded through the Mayor's Office 2022, Bordeaux and North Nashville, which is for budget and Metro Arts % for public art program. The background, the existing Welcome to Bordeaux was installed between, say, 2007 and 2008. A community project led by former Senator and Councilwoman Brenda Gilmore. The welcome sign established a former entryway into historic, affluent, predominantly Black community. And in recent years, Judge Bell and Beautification Commissioner Eric Capehart has served as stewards of the site, providing routine lawn care and organizing community cleanup events. And then we talk a little bit about the historic budget cycle. We'll, expound on that on how we even got to this point. And as part of the 2022 cycle, the Bordeaux North Nashville Historic Budget Steering Committee, they multiple community engagements to solicit ideas for needed improvements throughout North Nashville communities. Of the many recommendations and public art installation at Bordeaux Gateway site was one of the projects receiving the most votes and selected for funding. From there, management of the public art project moved to Metro Arts and using its concept outlined in public art guidelines. And so this is one of the two projects that have been given or commissioned by Metro Arts. One being we just completed was the Luby. Here will be headed side by, please see, it is absolutely beautiful. That was led by the organization Credit Rock with the artist Alicia Morozic. The stakeholders, the public art project is a collaboration between Metro Arts and NDOT and TDOT. They are the site owners. So I can tell you that everything, every approval, every review will have to go through them. And so we are doing the best we can to kind of shepherd that and see that through. And that will take some time. It's about maybe a 6 to 9 approval process. You have Simone here who can definitely touch and agree with that. We have a project, an ongoing project that is very similar to process as the Arthur Avenue. So anytime you on site property with CDOT, there's a lot of coordination, a lot of back and forth, but it can be done slower and steady. Community input with the support of neighboring advocacy groups and the North Nashville Bordeaux Chamber. Metro Arts in 2023 conducted several community meetings and an online community survey to collect project feedback and recommendations from community members and residents. So this will conclude the last of the engagement so that we can have our artists start their proposals. But this will not be the last time that you will have an opportunity to give your input and your comments. We will be setting up the display proposals at Bordeaux Library and potentially another location for about a month. And of course, you all will know ahead of time when it happens. And there you can also solicit your comments and your feedback. And that is something they will take with them in addition to tech review, and they will implement those to finalize their concept proposal. All right, and so this sheet right here, it just kind of gives you just a little bit reflection, and some of the things are going to be repeated. But North Nashville Board of Residents proposed the project through the participatory budget process. Community encouraged to provide feedback about Bordeaux. Community input informs the semifinalist artists, concepts, and designs, exactly what I'm referring to now. Community will have the opportunity to view the semifinalists' design proposals. A Metro Arts procurement process provides for a community panel to score and recommend an artist proposal, which we have already curated that selection panelists that are all local, by the way. Metro Arts manages the project according to the public art guidelines and with assistance from the Nashville Department of Transportation. They are going to be our major liaison for this process. It's going to be transportation meeting transportation. And the Metro Arts Commission, Metro Art Council, and the TDOT review and approve final design before fabrication and construction. The artwork will be of size, scale, and material, appropriate to its location. It will not be a mural. Okay. It is a committed standalone project intended to add creative representation and broaden ideas for future artistic enhancements throughout Bordeaux. And the artwork may become a neighborhood landmark, inspiring community identity and pride, and encouraging new neighborhood initiatives and investments. And right here, I just have a very general timeline for you, because everything is all subject to change. But as it stands now, this is where we're at, and this is where we're kind of moving forward up until we contract artist finalists. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and jump in. We do have a hard out at noon, and I know everybody wants to see the Tigers beat the Bulldogs. So I'm going to keep it here at a decent time, but I want us to really just seize all the moment and the time to really stay focused and really, give our feedback and our vision and our comments so that we empower and that we encourage these artists.
This for clarification, please, should that be spring 2026? Or winter then spring?
That is very interesting. I know. That could be misleading. So winter 2025 leading into spring 2026.
Because it should say 2025.
That's right. That's right. I know some people say 2026, but yes, 2025, winter 2025. Thank you.
So we're looking to have it done by spring 2026?
No. Looking to have No. Spring of 2026, we'll have an artist finalist selected. And then we'll go on contract, and from there we'll do fabrication, we'll do the construction. We're looking at a 2027 installation and potential dedication.
Are the community panels posted anywhere?
No, and that is something as part of our procurement process, we do not give those names. Yeah.
So it's the idea that the artists will be selected on the same timeline that TDOT processes?
No, we will, it's kind of like we're doing this end, we're completing this end, and then CDOT, that overview, that is 6 to 9 month process. So while ongoing contracting, the ongoing fabrication, those things need to be happening simultaneously. Yes.
So the 300,000, is that inclusive of the maintenance?
Very good question. It is not. It's not that $300,000. That doesn't include site work. We are responsible for that. Very good question. I just want to figure that up.
The other things. I have a question. Is that inclusive of the fabricator? We have artists who are physically efficient, that were amazing local artists. So we want to feed into that.
That's right.
Right. So is the 300,000 also the fabricator?
That's right.
Can I piggyback on that question?
Yes.
What portion, I know you said some of this is funded out of the participatory budget funds. What portion of the 300,000 was funded 5% for art?
And I cannot, I want to say, did we put maybe 200,000 to it? It was between either 185 or 200,000 from that paper art fund, to put the percent for art fund. So it started out a little bit lower. I was going to say this budget started out at 185,000. And then it increased, it increased from that. So whatever is left over, that's what we put in. Yeah.
So Paul, so y'all have put in some, just by comparison, I believe, aside from the face over here in the park. They might only second public art installation here in Bordeaux. That's
It's gonna be in Bordeaux, but not in District Two. District Two, that's right. So in District Two, which is, we'll get to that because I want to know how sprawled out, this actual district is and how sprawled out Bordeaux is. But I think Bordeaux kind of limits kind of like where Buena Vista is and Luby is. So Luby will be included. And then also District Two, we have the nice project coming up in the Nashville County, which JCC campus.
okay.
Yeah, so in all, it's about 4 or 5 public art works that will be here in North Nashville, but in Bordeaux specifically, which will be the second time. Yeah,
Could everybody hear? Hurry up, somebody.
I know, right? We have a mic. And
Here, let me do this.
Mhm.
Testing 1, 2.
And who will be responsible for the maintenance once it's complete?
Metro Arts.
Oh, okay.
Metro Arts, as it just the artwork, just the artwork.
Okay, so the grass, keeping the grass cut and any shrubberies,
Yes, ma'am. That'll be fine. And this
right for
artwork,
that.
right. And that's why we definitely need to, this is not going to be us, so we need to see if there's something that NDOT can be responsible for since they are our partners. You're welcome.
One last process question. Are the, because I know panelists can't be, their identities can't be divulged, but at the last solicitation feedback, once they present their proposals, are the panelists required to be there to hear the community's feedback as they make their selection? Because otherwise it's a moot point for the feedback to be given. If the panelists not there to hear the people to make the decision on. So can you speak to that procedurally?
So it's intended that the comments are shared with the artists and we don't want those, there's particular criteria that the selection panelists have to go to. And so we don't want anything to, interrupt that. What we can do is share the comments and the feedback that come from the Bordeaux Library, which you all will have an opportunity to do that. They can take that into consideration, but they can't make a selection based off of that. There's a particular criteria, a procurement criteria that we have, they have to go on, and that kind of filters out any, I can't think of the word right now, but any favoritism or any biases. That's right. So, yeah, we have to be very careful with that, but they can absolutely review the concept of report that we have, the previous community engagement, as well as the feedback that's given at the Bordeaux Library. And also, too, this is very important. They can also keep that and we can share that with them.
I might have missed it. You were saying the panelists, how are they selected, or I'm just curious as, I know you said you couldn't say who they are.
I can't say who they are, but
How are they selected?
how are they selected? Sylvia probably can speak a little bit more on that. I wasn't here when that they were selected, but we put a call out. And so they had to apply for the work. Everybody had to be local. Everybody had to be within the community. And so I think just based off of that and references and maybe a few other things, again, according to our guidelines, that's how we selected. We didn't directly select anybody. It wasn't like that. Yeah.
You explain it
Oh, okay.
a little bit. Yeah. Lucia, have one.
Yeah, is it possible for you to make readily available what the actual guidelines are and the community? And so I think that would hopefully help to clear up a lot of the questions.
Shell and the shell.
Yeah.
Yes.
One question in the back.
Thanks, Kalia. Regrettably, I've got to go. We live 2-minute walk from the station. So we are just looking at this table and knowing that Shabazz is a part of this too. No matter who gets picked, we are pumped. We are so
That's
pumped
right.
to see whoever gets this. So yeah, I'm just not a question, but just super thrilled to see so many faces, so many awesome artists. Nashville powerhouse is up there. So congratulations to you guys, to Shabazz, Tudu, and we're just thrilled to see this. So yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Great to see you.
All right, buddy.
All right, we'll go ahead and jump in, and I want to start with, we're gonna kind of feel like we've kind of a sequence of events in the process here, so. Ms. Gilmore, put on the solid bit, can you just say a few words about the inception of the existing gateway and how was the call to action for it? What was the immediate, reaction from the community? And, just give us a little bit of insight on that. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm Brittany Gilmore. I love this community. Had the honor of serving as your councilwoman, your state representative, and your state senator, now I'm your former senator. When we started looking at this gateway to Bordeaux, I was so excited about it because after my husband and I married, we moved to Bordeaux to raise our daughter. And in fact, lived on Vista Valley Court for probably about 45 years. And she grew up there. But when you came into the Bordeaux area, there was no marker, no identity to let you know that you were entering the Bordeaux area. It was an area at that time, of course, it's changed over the years and is more diverse, and that's a good thing. But at the time, it was predominantly African Americans in the Bordeaux area. There were teachers and principals and nurses and doctors and professors, and a community that you could be very, very proud of. But one thing that was lacking was, again, some identity to let you know that you were entering the community. And the other is sidewalks. And we made a little progress on sidewalks, but I think we still need to make additional progress on getting those sidewalks. So as a Metro Councilwoman, we were awarded a certain allotment of money. And there were some neighborhoods in my community that and projects that I wanted to see happen. And that was one. So I went to, as you have indicated, to the Tennessee Department of Transportation, and they wanted to put one of those big green signs that you see on the highway. So I said, no, we can't have that. So if that's all you want to have, then we won't have anything at all. So I had a friend in the Metro, what's it called? What is it called? Plant service. What is it called? Works, yeah. Who called and told me how to maneuver. It's always good to know the janitors and the people like that because they can help you, right? Mm-hmm. And he told me how to work it, and we ended up with that sign. At the time, I was so new to it, and it says welcome on both sides. That's a good thing. It means we're welcome. And the Girl Scouts were responsible for the maintenance at that time, and they would keep all of the weed, keep it weeded, and it would keep all the weeds out. And we got some flowers from different people who donated. And then, of course, one of my mentees, Rachel Bell, who's now a judge, got elected, and she and some of her constituents and people who needed to work out community service took on the project of keeping it looking good out there. But we were very excited. We had a formal dedication. At the time, Senator Harper was living. She came to it, and we invited all the neighboring council members to come to it. And it was just a wonderful event that day. And it was an important milestone, I think, in the life of Bordeaux. And I'm looking even more forward to see what's going to come up from the ground there. The murals are beautiful, but I'm glad that we're going to have something more lasting at that intersection. And some of the artists I know, they have wonderful reputations. I've seen their work, and some of them, of course, I'll get to know. But I do believe that we're in good hands, and I look forward. And I want to thank each one of you all for being here, because that shows that you care about your community. Yeah, I love to look out in the audience to see people. That's great. So thanks for giving me an opportunity to make some comments.
right, that leads us into Judge Phil, would you come up here? Don't stop.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you to my mentor, Brenda Gilbert. As a child, I was so excited to see when I came back home from college, from law school, that the Welcome to Bordeaux sign was up. And I think it's okay to have the sign on both sides because really the mapped area kind of covers some other parts of Bordeaux that we're still trying to identify solely. So we've looked into the historical context from where the first post office was in 1866 by Randall Smith. And it is a little, I don't know, the sign over kind of close by 25th Avenue North. So we're going to get the maps, we're going to certify it, we're going to vote on it, and we'll be done with where is Bordeaux, who's in Bordeaux, who's not in Bordeaux. But we'll do that as a group. I also am serving with you as your chair and president and founder of the Bordeaux Chamber of Commerce, which several of you in the room are members or founding members or charter members. Lucia is our committee chair for the Arts Committee. I'm excited about the opportunity. I called Brenda one day and it started, y'all know for a while, it started looking pretty bad. The grass was tall, the weeds were looking wild. And I called her one day and I said, hey, do you mind if I take this project over? I'm going to adopt the highway and I can do some community service work. We have to do 4 hours of cleanup anyway. And I had been thinking of that community most of my life because my parents always had us doing adopt the highway projects as a kid. So I just thought it was normal, no problem. Just get the mediator out, get the lawnmower out, let's put some trees up, let's do what we need to do, some shrubs. And then there were people that needed to get community service work. So it was either them go to a class and pay $90 or do 4 hours of cleanup. So it was really easy for me to do a cleanup. We can do a cleanup tomorrow. Metro beautification, we would get sororities, churches, fraternities, nonprofits. We're all at the same, nobody knows who anybody is. We just get and taking care of the community. So you'll see Adopt the Highway by Bordeaux Chamber of Commerce. You'll see my name, Rachel Bell on some. You'll see Community Court saying my sons. So we've adopted 3 stretches, which is, I call it the corridor of Bordeaux. We've worked to be dedicated to Martin Luther King Bridge, which is another thing for working on. I was trying to, being the chair of the participatory budgeting back in 2022, we were trying to get this gateway to stretch to, let's just get the paint off of the Martin Luther King Bridge and chip it off and just pressure wash it so it doesn't look like it looks right now. So that's a goal. That's a goal. That's a goal. So we can look good as we leave this wonderful project. But I would say the one thing I would say that I'm very interested in particular are the rocks that we have purchased through the Bordeaux Chamber of Commerce and through the Museum Community Court. We spend a lot of money on rocks there. I had talked to Lucia. We thought about, we want our rocks back. Please don't throw our rocks away. But it could be maybe a fundraiser for the Bordeaux Chamber. Since we own those rocks, we donate those rocks, and the people want their name incorporated into the project. Maybe we as the Bordeaux Chamber could have people purchase those rocks and put their name on them or chisel their name on them or something, and then they'll be placed back into your project if possible, if we can get that. If not, we'll take those rocks and put them somewhere else. But we spent about $2,000 or $3,000 in rocks to keep the weeds from coming up, and it was better than shrubs. So we put a lot of money into it. I know you're not going to keep all our knockout rose bushes and our shrubs and all that, probably not. But the sign itself will have a place to hold it. If we want to put that sign that Brenda put up first, which we're really thankful, put it somewhere else, if not still in the same space. So if we can keep some of our collateral or some of our materials, that'd be great. But the partnership now that we have is with Waste Management, which I've been very thankful for the last 2 years. They have been making sure that the grass is cut. So that's really good. Instead of just being in our community, they're also helping at least pour back in, which that project itself is about $400 every time it gets cut. And it has to be cut about 4 times a month. So I'm very thankful for that partnership. And if there are any questions of me of how we're keeping it clean, TDOT would only cut it 4 times a year. So we had to do something. We had to figure something out. Eric Cakefart himself sometimes be down there and cut it. I've gotten out there and cut it and weed eated it myself. And some of you in this room that probably got down there and cut the grass and weed eated it. But it's been a beautiful spot to entrances, been an eyesore at times, but looking forward to now being a beacon of light and entering into our community and leaving our community. So thank you all again. I will echo everything that my mentor, Brenda Gilbert, said. Are there any questions? Am I? Of me? Okay, thank you.
I guess we can now touch on a little bit. We kind of talked about the history, and I want to kind of see if we can expound on that. If anybody want to share the history behind Bordeaux, the name, kind of how everything got settled here. Yeah.
Okay, so for about 6 years, I worked with some interns and other people in the community to find out how is Bordeaux Day. And the Bordeaux Chamber of Commerce came up with 2 initiatives. We wanted to put up 2 historical markers during our first year of our membership year, which is 2015. So in 2016, we took the time to dedicate the Martin Luther King Bridge and give its history, as well as Bordeaux. Bordeaux was founded by Dr. Randall Smith, who's a dentist. He came from France. He lived in a community called Bordeaux. He wanted to send some mail back home. But so you can't send any mail, let's establish a post office. So he established a post office. I have the marker, I have the detail, I have the map of where the post office was. We just need to get somebody to tell me exactly where it was. When we found out exactly where it was and all the different things were going on in that time, all the news articles that were going on during that time, anything was published or telemarketing or what was it called, telegrams, any of that stuff we can find. We're working on it so we can then hope that the community can help us identify exactly where we know. Some people think they know where Bordeaux is. Some people don't know where Bordeaux is, but they think it's here, it's there, it's there. Smith, 1866. He established the post office, and that's where Bordeaux started. And it's about where 25th Avenue North. So that's like the post office kind of right. Welcome, Bordeaux, suicidal place.
Do you know Johnny Thomas?
I do not, I don't.
Right, she's done extensive work too on the history of Bordeaux. If you want to reach out.
And that's what we'll do too. We want the artists to, with their research and with you all's comments and feedback, they will create those proposals. So if you could,
We can give you contact.
thank you.
I guess I would just like to say what I would like personally to see. I'm glad that it will not be a mural. I think we have enough. I would like to see sculpture, like I see in other neighborhoods that's substantial. What comes to mind is Musica, the roundabout. I like that because it has movement to it. I like the Civil Rights Monument. I think Centennial Park. But I would like to see something that represents the diversity of our community, of what you see here. We have children here, we have seniors, younger people, we have, it's multicultural. So I would like to see something that represents that has class to it, that 20, 30 years from now, we can say, oh, this doesn't look outdated. This looks fresh, it looks relevant. And I think as far as the rocks, there's a way easily, I think they could incorporate the rocks into the sculpture. That shouldn't be hard to do because the rocks are pretty. But that's what I want to see, something that is representative of the community as we evolve for the future, or as we are now and in the future.
Hello, sir. Born and raised here in Bordeaux. I'm just gonna say a few words that jump out to me from what I've seen on Bordeaux. Family, something that communicates the area being established, which leads me to stonework, sculpture work, masonry, class, because when we look at the history, it was well established by middle and upper class professionals. There's another one. Educated, and when you think about all that, you think of Black excellence. You think of the names of the marching bands in the area. You have band of distinction and aristocrats. So that tells you the level of esteem and class that the area evokes.
Have a thought about, I appreciate the history that was shared about Bordeaux. And I think about, I live in Franklin, but I had family. And I remember them talking about all the effort into fighting that landfill issue that was an issue of here for years. And those historical kinds of things, I think, are critical to understanding how this area has come to be what it is. People perish for lack of knowledge.
In a long bill, but it's not a, it's a little more of a statement than a question. I won't take up too much time. We're really here to listen to you all, but man, I'm so grateful. My heart is full at this. I'm just looking at this room. There's two young people in the back drawing and painting, and so there's two children here. And just as a kid that grew up in this area, I didn't live in North Nashville or Bordeaux, but I went to church in Metropolitan. Reverend Sanders are in this area. Grew up in Hadley Park every summer, and seeing Judge Bell play ball against my sister, and so I think the energy that's gone into this neighborhood. I mean, of course, Mom and your whole family, which is more people than we have time to name. But yeah, I think that the energy and effort that has gone into this neighborhood and this community, it produces so many people who believe they can do anything. And 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, as a young Black male kid growing up in this country, to believe, like, yeah, I mean, I was a good basketball player, but I could be an artist, I could be a judge, I could be, like all the different things. Youth about business, I could bring on business. So yeah, I mean, it's really, really a special place. And yeah, dear to my heart. So my heart is full just hearing the community talk about what it is today, because growing up here, I know how much that influenced my belief in myself, because I saw it all around me. I saw people doing all kinds of things and learned from Joe Goldstreet and Nate Harris. And I mean, just the list goes on and on, of course, the Gilmore family. And yeah, it's just such a special place. When you talk about professionals and Black professionals doing the gamut of things, Fisk University, Tennessee State University. Yeah, I mean, it's special. So I'm glad to be here and grateful for you all.
So in addition to what you've already heard, I know that we had a number of different meetings, maybe about 5 over the course of year 2023. And we were talking about some ideas that we wanted to have in this particular area. And I don't know if y'all have been privy to that information or not, but some of that information was that we wanted something to look kind of like the Bicentennial Mall. I like everybody's idea, what you said, esteemed, privileged, contextual history, a place to kind of reflect on the struggle, but also be so proud of our resilience, and that we're still here. This kind of what Alicia said, the roundabout with Pixel 6, something that says, I think you were talking about the Pixel 6.
Well, I do like that one. I did, but the Big Row and the one in Centennial Park was something.
Yes,
Yes. And it needs lighting.
Yes.
Yes.
But just something that when you, in addition to what y'all said, I guess I don't have to say anything else, but just something that's staple. But paying homage to the whole history from 1866 all the way through. Because it did start out as a predominantly white community, and then there was a white flight. And then it became a Black community through the civil rights movement and integration. And then now we're becoming multicultural, which is what I think, hopefully, it was always the intention. We've lost a lot. We had some wonderful things. We had Dairy Queen, we had an ice cream spot, we had shopping centers, we had burger joints. I remember going to a cafe, public cafe right there by the river. We had so many nice things, but as people move in and out, cultures move in and out, money and resources move in and out, we just haven't had what we need, but we're getting there. We know it's on its way. My mom says all the time, she's 72, I've been waiting my whole life to get back to have some amenities, have some resources in Nashville. But Bordeaux has had a number of great things. We're not there yet. We're still working on it. But if you haven't been privy to that, a bicentennial kind of mall feel, staple, history, reflection, kind of a Zen kind of moment, ignorance, perseverance, all that. You want to say?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just want
but for some reason, the word that joins to my mind when I think of Bordeaux, and I've lived here for 30 years.
is endurance and perseverance. And everybody in this room has been to multiple meetings where we've struggled to let folks know what the neighborhood needs. And for years, it was, I guess I could say this, I don't mean it harshly, it was neglected by downtown. And so there's a sense of endurance and struggle that goes right along with that history line that we're all chatting about. So, and caring. I'd like to see something a little playful too, to be honest with you.
I think the environment also. Nobody helps us that much. I think the environment also is important to Bordeaux, because the residents have struggled so hard to make sure that this is a place that their families can grow and live healthy. And someone mentioned to keep out the landfills, if you keep out the industries, so that I think the environment, if there's some way that we can intertwine, that I think that's good too. Because years and years ago, I guess about Nashville was a lot of farmland out here, a lot of undeveloped land.
Yeah, we seem to be losing a lot of trees.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think some of the neighbors still are in that fight to keep that rustic kind of feel in the Bordeaux area. Lady at the back, I think, one that's there.
And he went down.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
So I'm gonna introduce myself. So my favorite color is teal. And I'm 6 years old, and my favorite number is 1,000. And my favorite animal is a caiman. It's like a mini version of a crocodile. I've been on this horse for 6 years because I'm 6. And I'm another too.
All right.
That's Micah. I'm Michelle. We live right through there, our backyard right there. And we're super excited about this. And I think something that he would love to see is some colors. Exciting colors, right? Especially teal. But any exciting colors. But also with all the development and stuff, we've had a lot of wildlife in our yards. And so we love animals and dragons and dinosaurs. But if any animals get added, we have seen bobcats and armadillos and deer and raccoons and possums and foxes in our yard. And yes, and it's about time for all the bugs to come running through our yard. And we also recently found a brachiopod in our yard. A fossil, a brachiopod fossil. And so if any animals are to be added, or any fossils or ancient life, those are in our area as well. So thank you.
I have a comment and a question for Metro Arts and then a comment for the artists. Well, the comment for the artists is I just want to piggyback on what the gentleman said about established. From the stories that I've heard, when people move to Bordeaux, they really moved here. All brick homes was really important because it was a sign of permanence. Then that goes to speak to what we're saying about sculptures. That brings me to my question for Metro Arts. So that's a pretty big intersection, and $300,000 for that intersection seems
like a low amount.
Yeah, it is.
For the sculpture that was at, there around things over $1 million, if I'm not mistaken, for the sticks down at Lafayette, it was over 800,000. And so it doesn't feel like 300,000 is to scale for the area that's there. I would like Metro Arts to consider increasing the budget. And I also have a question that I think might, this is a comment. Based on the work that we've done in Arthur Avenue and because of the intersection of TDOT and NDOT, there are certain colors that can be missed. Right. It would be helpful if those colors are proposed in a proposal so that what is proposed is more likely to be implemented. If someone does red and it's like, we can't
do the orange.
Yeah. For that you give that color palette to the artist so that what is presented is. Thank you.
He had a point. I guess I'm about to him.
This is just a suggestion from the historical state. I remember as a kid coming into Bordeaux, and the old Bordeaux Bridge used to be at the metal across the top. And then when you used to drive across, it was these metal plates that came across the bottom. It had a real distinct sound when it's almost like a train going across the track. But I just figured, since you kind of look at some of the historical aspect, maybe incorporating some kind of metal or something that kind of gives you a little throwback into what that original bridge used to be. I think further down, I think maybe that what they used to even have a ferry, but don't quote me on that.
My mom thought that all the time.
Which leads me in the segue. Knowing that the budget for this is peanuts, practically, it may be wise to look out for a proposal that has the potential to have future phases and add-ons to it, which leads me to Metro Arts for future capital improvement budget plan to go along with the phases of the project, but also include for safety, lighting is something that's not going to lend itself to people sleeping on it, and no more trash, vandalism, all of that. So I want to highlight that.
Anyone else?
I'm sorry, I want to go back to Simone's point about the colors. Was that from TDOT or NDOT, did you say?
So I know for sure it's gonna be the TDOT.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, they are very adamant about using earth tone. So anything in the earth tone family, you want to be very careful of fluorescents, because they can be a distraction. They also, we will give you all some guidance. All of this will be given to you as part of the proposal package, the NUTCD. I've heard that before. Yeah, be real familiar with it because it gives you the do's and the don'ts and the shells and the shall nots on the roadway. Certain colors, certain symbols mean certain things in transportation. So we will definitely give it just if you just see earth tones is kind of that's what they prefer. So yeah, but that will all be given to you all. We have a few minutes left. This has been amazing. I want to end it with the identity of Bordeaux in the future. We have all ages here. We have boomers and Gen Bs and millennials, but you know, at some point the torch is going to be carried for, you know, the future to kind of maintain and kind of preserve this space. So I want to know, what's the future like for Bordeaux? What's the identity now? What does that look like?
Say it. Okay. Because I'm gonna go back to my words. Class, educated, professional. That's something that growing up in Bordeaux as a youth, that's something you were side by side with. You could look around at people at your church, your neighbors. You can see, you know, the teacher, the lawyer, the doctor, all right there. And so the future could look at that and say, hey, I can do that. That is my future. My future is that. So it's that I'm around right now. And so that idea of permanence, you know, to the sculpture idea, that's what it is. It's maintaining what you've already seen, basically. It's maintained. And family, I can't stress that enough, because when you have schools and stuff closing in an area, it means you don't have enough families. So if you communicate that families are welcome here, family is what you establish here, there's your school population right there.
I just want to make one. When I think of Bordeaux, it reminds me of jazz and music. That's what World plays me and listening to. And so I was on the neighborhood app the other day, and someone commented and said, "What is that I hear? Is someone having a party? I hear a band. Where is that coming from?" And so everyone's commenting, "Oh, that's Tennessee State University. That's the band of distinction. That's the aristocrat." Get used to it. Like, they were new to the what's going on? And so everybody started saying, it's time for the for the homecoming, and that's what you do a lot. And so that just really, reminds me of Bordeaux and the area there too. So,
Yeah. I'd say something about Bordeaux because I have lived here for over 50 years. Bordeaux to me was a family type place. Every person that went to school graduated with the person they started out with. You could communicate with your neighbor. Now it's like, who's next door to me? Who's next after me? And you tear down all the homes that was established by parents that took a love of, they loved the homes. But now we've gotten so to the point we don't care. I went to Pearl Elementary School. I was a tenor saxophone at Washington Junior High School. I attended Pearl High School. And we are still together. But now, it's just like, we don't even know who's living anymore. Take a picture. And if we could get that back again, that loving feeling, and try to remember that we need to leave a legacy for our children. Teach our children what they need to know in order to sustain in this community. I think it would be wonderful. And bringing this back, we're saying to you, this is what Bordeaux was like years ago. I remember when my parents, they bought off the landfill. It was a struggle. They was having meetings after meetings after meetings. So I just hope that things that come into Bordeaux will be uplifting to our children.
One question.
Thank you.
I just had a comment about the future and as the artists conceptualize, they will present, that they think about the topography of Bordeaux. This area is a very pretty area, and to think about just the topography and nature, all of the things around. This is what this area looks like, and how we can conceptualize that for anyone who's driving into the area, using all the historic things as well as just don't forget about all the fields over here, the river, all of those types of things.
Miss Harper had to leave, with that, she was here since 1973. She wanted to share about St. Pius of the schools, like, I guess, non-private schools that we have outside of F.A. Jenkins. We have 2 private schools in Bordeaux, I guess, I give or take. But it's the best skylines. I don't know if you've ever come from the YMCA going down over the bridge. It's probably the best skyline in Nashville itself. So, and please, you can see from Vanderbilt to downtown to TSU. It's just, I don't know what all you can see. You can pretty much see almost everything.
Well, I'm in the park at the cleaners to watch the fireworks.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm on like that, yeah.
Well, Fern Avenue is where we used to do it over there.
Preview of the hill,
Right above us.
Yeah.
The view is phenomenal.
One more comment about the track. Someone mentioned the bridge and painting. I think that might have been Senator Gilmore.
That was me.
That was you? Okay.
I'm trying to get the bridge.
Okay, so,
It looks fine.
we got the bridge painted. TDOT allowed the bridge to be painted under Arthur Avenue, so that is a consideration too. I'm just trying to share information because we didn't go do this fight with TDOT, but they did allow them to paint the bridge. So if painting the bridge could be a part of the project, that would be consideration to that.
We'll spend that money on it though.
Money is never a problem. Out there, open something project. We've had created. Like, take out.
And I bet we're wrapping up. I want to briefly, and I could just throw my voice. I want to just briefly share that I have a solo exhibit that is featuring someone who lives in Bordeaux and has been here for, I believe if you're up here. But anyway, it's at Elephant Gallery, it's called B, and some of those skylines you all are talking about and landscapes are in that exhibit. But yeah, Antonio B, young man who you might see at the Quick Sack or by Greater View Church. Yeah, anyway, I've done an exhibit featuring him, and it's at Elephant Gallery on Buchanan. So if you get a chance, go check it out.
And that leads us to, we'll wrap it up. I want all the artists to, whatever you're doing, whatever you have going outside of this, you definitely want to support them. So if everybody just, you want that to be, you fail to please say what you got going on in exhibits.
Okay, I'll start. I currently have a solo exhibit at the Customs House Museum, which is the fourth largest museum in the state in Clarksville. It'll be up until October the 26th. It's called Kaleidoscope of Texture. From there, I head down to Buckhead Art Festival in Atlanta. And then from there, the next week up to Louisville for a show called Artists and Afros. And then I go down to the next week, my mom's hometown of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, for the Kentucky Art Festival. And then I'll come back here for the Eclectic Show at University School of Nashville. So that's what I have currently going on, along with I'm doing the Hall of Fame portraits for my alma mater, East High School, of a lot of the kids that have qualified for the prestigious East Hall of Fame. And their portraits have been delayed because the artists who initially did them passed away. So I'm giving a lot of young, deserving Black kids an opportunity to be recognized for their Hall of Fame accomplishments at East High School.
And how can we find all that you just said? Because I don't know if you have a website or Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram, yes. And I have my card with my Instagram on it. So that info will be listed there. Thank you, Judge.
And I don't have any current exhibits, but I was a big part of Alan McQuire's Monumental Figures exhibit that's currently showing at the Parthenon. It's up until September 21st, so you guys have a week to view it. There's 24 new sculptures in the round, all brand new pieces of Alan McQuire's, and he's the same sculptor of Musica and the suffragettes that's at Centennial Park, as well as these massive hanging sculptures, 12-foot figures that are hanging in front of Athena. It's really a sight to see. So if you get a chance, please visit Parthenon. As far as my own work, I have some commissions that are taking me through the winter, probably to the spring. I tend to be optimistic. But in the meantime, I'll just be building up my gallery. So if you guys are over in Mount Eagle, please stop by.
And lastly, Omari, go ahead.
And yeah, and then as I shared, I said, how long have you worked with Alan Stevens on this?
I've first worked with them in 2020, but
Yeah.
so that project, we worked the entire year, started in May 2024, and we installed in June of this year.
So yeah, so I'm excited to collaborate with Steven as far as the stone and sculpture work. That is a medium that I'm not. It's not my medium, but with the collaboration, I'm really excited about someone who's really proficient in that. But yeah, the show that I've got going on on Buchanan, featuring the young man from the neighborhood. That's the main exhibit that I've got going on. I'm also a artist in residence at the arcade downtown, and that opening will be tonight. So Arcade Arts will have an opening there tonight, and a few other projects, another project with Metro that we're working on at Strobel House, from the supportive housing for people who've experienced homelessness to find a place to live. So a few things going on, but Omari Booker, definitely social media is probably the easiest way, but my website is better than it used to be. So I'm on my update. I could speak a little bit.
Guess I'll speak for our team. I would say that one thing we've been excited to do over the last year off and on is working with students at Lipscomb University who are students of color who were in Metro Nashville public school system and were offered scholarships by the university to become educators and then come back into the MMPS schools that they came out of and mentor and be and to represent the face of their own cultural diversity within their own neighborhoods. And so we've done a mural together with them where we've worked and collected their ideas and collaboratively created a mural that tells the story of what this program means to them. And so we are excited that is just being installed this week. And also, we do have an ongoing exhibit right now in Winter Park, Florida. It's called the Mosaic Arts International exhibit. We are part of our artistic practice, and a big part of who we are as artists is with the medium of mosaic. It's not all that we do, but it has been a wonderful medium for working on public art, sculptural and mural type concepts. And we recently were able to create a historical mural for the St. Bernard Academy community about the legacy of the Sisters of Mercy. It's interesting to how histories parallel and 1866 continue to come up in our conversation today. It's the same year that 6 nuns came from Ireland to build schools for young girls in Nashville because there really weren't any that existed. They started out on Capitol Hill with their first school, and St. Bernard was their second school. And so we were able to work and learn and create a tribute to their legacy and for the work that they did, not only in the field of education, but also with healthcare and just caring for the needs of the underserved in our Nashville community during the 1800s, and how that translates, just the idea that like one person's legacy it can grow and multiply and become so much. And so so the exhibit in Florida is actually it is an exhibit of photos because that work is already installed at St. Bernard Academy. But if you want to see it, please you can go and ring the bell at the school, and they'll be glad to give you a tour of that But we're really proud to be part of that exhibition there in Florida. And also, we do have cards here if you wanted to grab one about where we are, where we're located here. We have an incredible studio, which is open to any of you who would like to come and visit. Give us a call and we can make an appointment with you. We definitely would love to connect. And we have a website and LinkedIn. We're having some social media issues, but we should be back on hopefully soon. So please look for us there.
We are an hour from here. And we expanded our studio at this moment. We're trying to develop the area where we do the mosaic work. I want to make clear about the mosaic work is something that take time. So on projects take a year, 2 years. This last project we're studying about to last 3 years. So you're welcome to be part of the creative process. We're always looking for people who
We will
want to
recruit you.
So you don't need to know anything. You just wanted to decide to go and enjoy what will be having the studio open for the community to like learn and help us to do projects.
We have one more. It's nothing, nothing anybody asked this question. 300,000. Do you think, I want to hear from each one of you, do you think you can really make a statement piece that is going to encompass everything that kind of all of us said? Is that enough money? Can you stretch it? Can you make it work?
If we have the money, yes.
It is limiting.
Yeah.
It's gonna limit the vision.
Okay, it's limited. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue of the scale, like the scale of that area, it's large. So to make anything that is really substantial in that scale, I think it would require more just because there's a lot of space. I think that we could make a great piece that would be a standout at one part of it, but to really make that whole area pop.
This idea of phasing it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just say one thing too? With the other pieces that were named, the fact that they are monumental actually helps people to see them from afar so that they're not actually encouraging people to try to walk over the 5 lanes of traffic and interact with the piece up close. I think a larger piece would actually encourage admiration from a distance as opposed to encouraging people to do dangerous things to try to interact with the artwork.
Okay.
I concur that more funds would give you the opportunity to broaden the scale of the project. As artists, when budgets are set, we kind of have to adjust to what that amount is and what you're able to do within the context of that amount. So with the size of Mari mentioned, the size of that site, more money would give you the opportunity to be more expansive in terms of what you're looking at in terms of the design. So I concur with everything they're saying.
We have to wrap it up. I have one more question, then I have one comment after.
I'm not sure how the funding process works, but there are a lot of companies that are coming here that they're throwing money in this area in ways that we don't want them to put it. So I don't know, is there a way that if, let's say, a Amazon or an Oracle wanted to donate money towards the project, that could happen, or Titans, they wanted to give us our dirt, their dirt, we didn't want that, but if they want to throw some money our way, we'll take that. So is that possible that if organizations would be willing to donate money to it, that maybe the chamber could solicit to them to say, look, you want to do a do good deed, this is what we need, we don't need the other stuff you want to give money to.
So yeah, I could speak to a little bit about that and why the budget. I'll say even as a person who does, this for a living, that budget is peanuts, right? Yeah, I'm going to say that right now. But the problem with that site though is the limitations to the site itself, because it is in a flood zone. So the only thing that they've given us in, and I'm just gonna use this diagram here, pretend it's a triangle, right? But you know what, but it didn't flood.
Flood.
Yeah, I don't,
Way past that
it's, it's in a flood zone. They gonna, so just so you know, and this is a diagram that we've already shared with them, but they've only given us the outskirts of that triangle.
What about the inside?
You can't, because it floods in, everything floods into, there's a drain that literally goes down in.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Yeah.
But
And so everything that goes in there, so engineer wise, EOT has already said like, that's something that cannot go in there. They've only given us that footage.
this is the outskirt of the right.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
It's still a lot of space. It's still like a.
It is a lot of space.
Talking about what's maybe grass, and maybe the concrete that or stone that or getting inside of there to cut that grass is an ordeal. If it eats up a lot of our years, we were cutting that grass, we just lost all of our funding because somebody paid $400 a week. You can't.
Right.
$1,200 a month.
I'm getting a plug here. Thank you so much for coming out. If you have any questions, please email us. We really appreciate you taking the time to come on our Saturday.
Yeah, man.